everybody, Ty here. Apologies for the absence. My mom actually was in the hospital the last couple of days. She just got out yesterday, so lots been going on there. But we're back now. Everything's good. Everyone's okay. To anyone that's concerned, appreciate it. But we're good. But of course, main thing we're going to be talking about here, of course, is the weather. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, obliterating the share button as well. Trying to make that final push heading into the new year. I think 1075 will be a nice number. We're 1060 right now. Let's hope we can grow from that point. But anyway, getting into the weather. Right now, severe weather, not really too concerned. It's kind of been a rinse and repeat type deal right here. There, of course, are opportunities, but I'm not too concerned with them right now. From the day 4 to 6 time frame is when the potential is when the predictability is too low, not necessarily the potential. Day 7 and 8 is a different story. Not really too concerned with the severe weather threat right now, but the big topics are going to be more so the cool down that we're going to be expecting right before the Christmas holiday. Over towards the deep south, there may even be some potential for a little bit of winter weather. We'll get into that a little bit later. But main thing that we're going to be talking about also, and this isn't really being shown on the 8 to 14 day outlook, is going to be the warm up that occurs right around the time frame of Christmas as well. So a lot of moving parts with this forecast, so hopefully you can bear with me on this one. If need to be, I can try and timestamp this. Try to keep this video as short as I can, especially since I'm on a time crunch here. Got to get ready for work. So in any case though, one thing that we're also going to notice here is the lake effect snow threat is going to diminish over the course of the next few days, and over towards the Rockies is where we're going to see an increase in snow. Looking at the probabilities here, this is of course the 4-inch and greater probability, so it's not going to be quite as impressive as, let's say, the 2-inch or 1-inch probability here. But again, one thing that we'll notice here is the lake effect snow machine is going to be taking a little break here, which I'm sure a lot of you guys over here towards the northeast, over towards Michigan, are looking forward to. You guys have been getting hammered a good bit lately, so a welcome break for you guys, I'm sure. As we go towards the model data here, a couple things we'll make notice of. I'm not going to pull up the Euro on this one today. I'm sorry, guys. Just a little too hard pressed for time here. But what we'll notice here is, of course, we have the GFS up, is that, I mean, it's still pretty active. We have a few troughs coming into play, but a lot of these are not going to be super threatening. There's not a whole lot of cold air with these either. So as of right now, unless you're over towards the northwest and those higher elevations, wouldn't expect a whole lot out of these. Maybe some rain here and there, some snow possible. It's really towards the 16th where I'm kind of keeping an eye on the potential for severe weather. But like I said, I just don't think the dynamics are going to match up to a point where we have a great potential for that as of right now. Of course, as we know, things can change pretty quickly with the weather. By the time we get towards the next model run, this could look entirely different. So still going to be keeping an eye on it nonetheless. As we go further along, you can see that it's another trough that falls in behind this on the 18th. And you need to watch this one very closely, not for the potential severe weather, but what ends up coming right behind that. We end up seeing another trough that kind of has an interesting tilt here, and you're starting to see a little bit more of that north to south flow. So as a result, once this feature comes in, you start to see a little bit of a cool down, and then look at how these barbs are pointing directly to the south. That's going to be some big time cold air beginning to come in as a result. And with that, boom, here it is. Big time cold air, and this is where things get a little bit interesting for the deep south. This is where if we get just a little bit of moisture, not a lot, just a little bit of moisture that's hanging around with that cold air, we could get a few snow flurries out of this. I don't think this is going to be a major snow event, but it'll be a nice little sight for those of us in the southeast that aren't used to snow. It isn't going to be anything really that would be worthy of panicking about, I would say. And then right after the 23rd, we start to warm right back up. You can see the ridging begin to occur over the deep south, and really this is going to be the thing for the entire lower 48 here. There's a couple of troughs that I'm kind of interested in. This one in particular I'm watching pretty close, maybe, and I think, and it's a very far-ended maybe, that we might get severe weather over here towards Texas. I don't think this trough is going to evolve, however, so I'm not too concerned about that setup. It really might be the setups just a little bit after Christmas that kind of capture my eye in regards to severe weather. like I said, there's not really a whole lot in the way of cold air, so not really focused too heavily on the snow threat unless you're towards the mountainous northwest here. And then this feature kind of looks interesting. It's really not till the very end of this model run where we see an opportunity for cold air to press back in right before the new year starts. But again, as far out as we are, can't really put a whole lot of merit into it. You got to take it for face value at the moment and know that this is very much open to change here. So, quick reasoning as to why I'm not too concerned with severe weather. Can't keep my map straight here. Want it to start at the very beginning, not 132 hours out. But in any case, though, as we look at this map here, we're looking mainly for these 60-degree dew points. It does look like we have a small chance that something does try to surge here on the 16th. It will mainly be a linear mode if we can get something to develop. The lift definitely seems like it would be there, but I don't know if the other ingredients come together well enough to prompt any severe weather. Really, after the 16th, though, my confidence definitely kind of drops off in severe weather potential. And then from beyond that point, of course, we start to lose those dew points here. So, thermodynamically speaking, we're already kind of behind the 8 ball here. And then as we go further along, you can see as we're expecting it to get colder, those dew points are going to start to drop off. But what kind of interests me about that Texas trough here is the fact that we do get a little bit of moisture out ahead of it. If those 60s can surge a little bit further off to the north and west, we might be in business with that. But like I said, still pretty far out. Can't put a whole lot of merit into that. I do think that there will be a chance that if this were to verify as it is right now, maybe there could be a Gulf Coast severe setup. But again, looking well over 2 weeks in advance at this point, can't really put a lot of merit into that, as we said before. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the temperatures, which is really going to be the big topic in all of this. If we were to go ahead and really even just look at the next day here, we're going to start to see a little bit of a warm up. And then as we get towards the 18th to the 20th, that's when we start to see those first signs of the cold air beginning to sneak in. We even have a chance of maybe some below zero temperatures over here towards North Dakota before all is said and done. It even tries to sneak its way into Minnesota here before all is said and done. As we get towards the 20th, that's when that cold air really starts to kick in now. You're starting to see those widespread 20s and 30s making their way into the deep south here, all the way through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Georgia. Pretty much the entire eastern half of the Mississippi, even over towards the central plains here. We're going to get pretty frigid over the course of the next few days. This is going to be leading up to the Christmas holiday itself, or just before then. We start to level off right around Christmas Eve, starting to see temperatures a little bit closer to average, maybe just a tad bit below. And then it's after that point where we start to warm up. Notably, this is Christmas Day as of right now. It's 300 hours out. You can see that just about everybody's right above freezing with the exception of a few areas. Mostly going to be mountainous terrain, or the far northern states are going to stay below freezing at this point. So for those of you that have snow on the ground, it's advantageous if you're looking for a white Christmas. If you don't have snow on the ground and you're not looking for a white Christmas, this is also advantageous for you as well. In any case, as we go beyond that point, you can start to see a little bit of warming return here. Warm sector pops up over towards the southern plains here and just off to the west of the Mississippi. And I think this is where our chance of severe weather may come into play. Like I said, far out as we are, can't really put a lot into that, but we'll just have to see how things pan out. Last but not least, we'll go ahead and take a look at our snowfall, at our precipitation. Really, at this point, we're kind of looking at snowfall potential and maybe a couple of scattered storms and, of course, severe potential from this point. Like I said, really, it's going to be this model. It's really going to be the runs that we're looking at towards the 16th and onward that kind of capture my eye here. This is that little linear setup that we're thinking could occur on the 16th. After that point, not really a whole lot going on. There is a chance that we see a little bit of lake effect coming back into play right around the 20th time frame. That's going to be due in large part to those lake surface temperatures being warmer than the air temperature, of course. And just little clipper systems usually all we need to get a little bit of convection going, and that's how we get those lake effect snowbands. Of course, as we know, trying to forecast lake effect snowband totals is going to be like well, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Good luck. And where those totals may end up setting up station 2, sheesh. Because it's usually a very small corridor where these lake effect snow bands set up. But in any case, though, this is getting towards the 21st. This is a little bit of I don't know if I would call this a confluence band or anything like that, but it kind of sets up almost like one over the deep south if this scenario indeed, again, does occur here. And it pushes pretty far south of that. Like I said, if this ends up being the case, it'll be a nice little story. I don't expect much. I wouldn't expect much in the way of accumulation with this right now. If this storm were to evolve somehow, then we might be talking about something different. But this really just looks like a clipper system at this point, so can't really put a whole lot into that. This does have a threatening look of a nor'easter, but rest assured, as of right now from this model run, this is going to push off to sea long before it sets up into anything significant for the northeast. Depending on how you feel about snow, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. After that point, we shift our attention towards potential severe weather. Maybe a clipper system might come in towards mid-Atlantic, drop some snowflakes. But outside of that, right now, not really too worried about winter weather right now. So we look over, of course, looking over towards the west, it's really going to be where all the action is in regards to snowfall, mainly the mountainous terrain at this point. So going to be pretty warm out towards the west, and of course over towards the deep south we're going to be kind of shifting a bit, especially going to be cooling down over the course of the next few days leading up to Christmas, I should say. We're going to be on a warming trend over the course of this week. But that being said here, hope you guys enjoy your Friday. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and have an awesome rest of your weekend.